This is my current hunting blind, and this is my new hunting blind. This is the Viz Trilogy from Tidway, and I think that this is going to be an absolute game changer this year, and we're going to put it to the test. By the end of this video, you're going to know whether this thing is an absolute game changer or whether this is going to be just hiding in the trees. All right, so first things first, we got to get rid of the old one. All right, that wasn't hard. So you might be asking why I even kept this thing up if it's absolutely torn to shreds. The reason for that is because deer, honestly, often they notice changes, right? And so if I had taken something down, I had nothing in the spot right here, there's a little path here where deer could come straight up behind us and stuff like that. And whenever they see that big blind sitting here, they're not going to be used to it. And so they are going to be a little bit spooked whenever they see, boom, there's this big blind sitting here. So if I put something here and I make them get used to it, then it's not as big of a change whenever I put something up. So for this video, I was going to have my two hunting buddies come out here and we're going to do a thing called Doemageddon. Unfortunately, due to some work plans, one of them had to cancel. Dean, you know him, Lung Crusher 53, had to cancel. So we got our other buddy, Chris Barrett, who you saw on that elk hunting podcast that we did. Chris is gonna come out here and we're gonna drop some does, fill the ice chests, and profit over all this. So I got the bow ready, but I made a huge mistake. I brought my bow and all my gear out here, but I forgot my broadheads. I only have one broadhead, and it's literally one that we are prototyping. So I might just have to use that one arrow. Hopefully I don't lose the broadhead, but like I say, I might have to just use that one arrow for this entire hunt. So we'll see. Stay tuned. But first, let's get this Tidway set up and get going. All right, so we've got the Viz Trilogy here, and we're gonna get this set up. First thing, opening the box. Very simple. You've got two bags in here because essentially you've got two blinds, okay? So this allows you a lot of versatility as far as like, what do you want to carry into the field? So being that it's two separate blinds, you can see we've got two separate bags. So this allows a level of modularity to this that's really awesome, because basically what I can do is, let's say if I was needing both of these because I've got, you know, 4 guys coming with me, 4 or 5 guys coming with me to hunt, one thing I can do is split the load here. So I can have one of my buddies carry one bag and I can carry the other one. It's not a big deal. They're not heavy. So I could honestly even carry both if I weren't also carrying other hunting gear and stuff. This is not bad at all. They do have 2 backpack style straps on each bag, but we're not going very far because we're setting this up here on the ranch in order to drop some does. So let's get these things popped up, and hopefully I can get this all popped up and together before the deer show up, not afterwards. That would suck. So let's go ahead and get going. I'm going to open these up. Now Tidway has done some good improvements on the material here. This is going to be 300D nylon. So the previous versions, I would even say most hunting blinds are made out of a 150D nylon. So this new 300D nylon is going to be much thicker, much more durable. It's going to last well against the elements, and build quality is just going to be amazing. So getting these out of the bag, they're basically identical panels. So I'm going to set that one on top of the bag and look at this. So I love that it comes wrapped up. It's got the strap here to keep it all held together. Build quality, the material feels really nice. It's slick, and I can see that kind of one-way panel on here. So I can see that it's black on one side and it's got the camo on the other side with the holes going through it so you can see through. And there we go, we're finished. That took all of, what was that, maybe a couple of minutes or so. And basically I've got now a 6-person blind set up. They call it a 4 to 6 person. I would say comfortably 4, especially with bows. If you had rifles, it'd probably be able to stuff 6 guys in there maybe, but with bows, maybe 3 or 4. So it's all set up, it's ready to go. Let's just get staked in the ground to get it finished. But that was so fast, it was so easy to pop that up and get going. You notice I'm holding my mic because I just knocked it off while I was doing that. But that was so fun, that was so easy and so fun. Honestly, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and set up the turkey blind too while we're at it. There you go. With that, I'll put the total time somewhere up on the screen here, but within just a few minutes, I've got a 4-person hunting blind or 2 pop-up hunting blinds, and I've got a turkey blind completely set up and ready to hunt from. So, yeah, I mean, that's a win. That's a huge win. Gotta say it. This thing is basically the Swiss Army knife of hunting blinds, like 100% turkey, deer, 2-person, 4-person. I mean, just buy this one and you've got everything set up for every hunting season you could ever need. All right, so now we're gonna go check this out so we can see our windows here. We'll walk inside and see this view, this beautiful view here. So walking around, you can see it's got these solid panels in the back here so that you know you don't daylight yourself or have light coming in from behind you. Okay, but it opens up all the way around like this, right? Then, like I say, you've got the panels are nice and quiet. Okay. Then we got the door right here, which I'm actually gonna probably rotate, but we'll see. I think actually this is probably a good space for it here. Unzips, and now we are inside. So simple as that. We've got 2 doors on it. So you've got a door over on this side and you got a door over on that side. But this is what's really cool is the field of view here is like totally unrivaled. This is insane. So close all these windows up a little bit. So the side windows here are kind of just like a bungee strap. And then these right here, also the quiet sliding. So I can see what's going on behind me. And they have an overlap so that I can make sure that there's nothing showing through here. Again, I'm not daylighting myself, but if I want a little breeze, I can pop that open. But this is insane. I can see 270 degrees around me, and the field of view is really nice. I can see everywhere. I can see what's coming on. I can see if anything's coming around. So super cool. Super excited to get this used to. The last thing we have to do is just stake it in the ground. So let's go ahead and get that done. All right. The zipper even too is very quiet. I appreciate that. So let's get it staked down, get it into position, and we're ready to rock and roll. So before we get started on this hunt, there is something that I need to address, and that is my dumbass forgetting my broadheads. So there's 2 things that we're gonna do right now before we get hunting tonight. First one of them is we went into town and picked up this right here. These are the Grim Reaper Whitetail Special Pro Series with a 3-inch total cut because I forgot my broadheads at home. So usually I am not a mechanical broadhead person, but I figured for this, these deer out here are nice and they're pretty dang small, so I figured this would be plenty good for this. I just needed something that was 125 grains that I knew would fly 20 yards perfectly straight. And we're gonna go ahead and use them. That way I don't mess up any of my single bevels for things like elk and whatnot. But they look pretty good. I've heard a lot of good things. So we're gonna use these. These are the Whitetail Special, okay? Also want to talk about these real quick. This is a new product that's going to be coming to the store, and this is basically these are the little things that clamp onto your seat. So you basically insert it into the pole of your headrest this way, and you turn it and it clamps on, and it gives you a really rugged, durable clamp to be able to hang your backpack, your bow, all that stuff off of. I'm going to be giving this to Chris, one of my hunting buddies that is coming up here to test it out and make sure that it's ready for go time. But this thing has been incredible for me, and I've made some changes. I know there's some other versions of things like this on the market, but I've made some changes to make this very versatile. One of them is that I printed it out of a very durable polycarbonate. So like this thing is impact resistant, shatter resistant. I've had this thing sitting out in the heat for hours now, and there's no deformation, no bending, no warping. I can crank on it real hard, it's not going to bend or warp. And so I've been really impressed with this. And not only that, but it also has a retention hook. So if you're going down a rough country road and you just got the hook on there, sometimes things could bounce off. So we've got the ability to take a strap right here around this hook and put it around this hook to really make sure that whatever you put on there is held in place and is not going anywhere. This is something I designed myself, and offering it to you guys. Just like everything on my website, it's something that I designed myself and decided that I think it would be a product that you guys would want to see as well. So here it is. Tell you what, before this is fully released, I want you to help me come up with a name for it. So down in the comments below, comment what we should call this. I don't know, let me know something crazy too. So thanks for tuning in. Let's get out here. Now we got to go hang the gambrel and put the seat in the stand and get all that shit ready. So let's go ahead and do that.
Day one inside the blind, it was actually a pretty decently cool morning. I had a little bit of a breeze a little bit later in the morning, but it was pretty warm outside starting off. But it didn't stop the deer from coming in almost right away. Had several deer come in with a couple does and a spike that we thought was actually a doe, but we'll talk more about that in a minute. Chris got himself lined up and had a perfect shot on him at this angle. Even though it was an incredibly steep angle through the blind, he was able to line up and make it really easily. I want you to watch how long he holds his draw in here. This is why it's really important to practice those back muscles and like work those out and practice holding for a long period of time, because in situations like this, they move, animals move, and you never know how long you're going to be holding. You can see the fatigue start to set in as he kind of almost has it drop forward a little bit. But finally the deer presented a shot and he got lined up. And bam, you hear that smack. Unfortunately I didn't get it on camera because I was shooting through the trees, but you can definitely hear that hit was solid. So the trail didn't go far. We had to follow a little bit of blood here and there. But what we ended up thinking was a nice little fat doe. Ended up being a spike buck. So we tracked it down. We couldn't see those tiny little spikes through the binoculars or the rangefinders. But once we reviewed the video, we're like, oh, yep, it was a little spike. But still a fair game. Nice blood trail. Nice blood on the arrow. Pass through. The start of the second day wasn't all that great. We sat from early morning before the light came up all the way into the evening, and we didn't see anything until later in the evening. Spent a lot of time hanging out, telling stories, enjoying the nice view in this blind and a little bit of breeze that was blowing. I felt like their scent was covered pretty well through the blind, and we didn't have any issues. Their deer were much more spooked since we did drop one of their comrades the day before. This is a great shot to show how much room we had in the blind. Between the two of us, there was a couple feet in between us, and with the room that's in the tent, we would have had enough room to both draw our bows at the same time. Finally ended up getting the opportunity for each of us to take a shot, but it didn't quite go as planned. I ended up getting lined up on a doe, and I was just about ready to take a shot when this happened. Yeah. Basically what happened was my release wasn't fully locked in, ready to be engaged. And so whenever I tried to pull back on the D-loop, yeah, it just totally triggered the release to fire and dropped the arrow. Unfortunately, that noise, the loud noise of the arrow hitting the shelf, ended up having the deer scatter a little bit. They were very amped up, very on edge. And of course, that made it much more difficult to take a shot. Not only that, but now my nerves were shot. I was, anxious that I just spooked them all off. And so watch as I come to full draw and hold it here, you can see how much I'm shaking. And now, despite that sounding like I just drilled a deer, totally did not. I just spooked it off. I ended up hitting a mesquite brush about 25, 30 yards away and totally missed. And then Chris got a chance to take his shot, lined up, took the shot, and unfortunately he missed too.
Oh, fuck, did I miss?
Yeah, I think so. Checked my accuracy that night, and it was pretty dang good. This was at 35 yards. So went back out and hunted the next day.
Things have not gone exactly as planned. On the first night, we filled this thing full of protein, hoping that they would come. And damn, did they come. There was deer everywhere. I literally used up all of my data on the GardePro plan because of, how many pictures. I mean, there was one time I had like 6 deer or something like that at this feeder. And that was pretty wild. But at one point yesterday, we had like 4 deer standing 10 yards away, and 3 of them were spikes. One of them was a doe, but she was hiding behind some brush and never gave us a clear shot. I mean, we probably saw at least a dozen deer yesterday, but they either didn't give us the shot or it didn't happen. Again, I'm incredibly impressed with this blind, though. Chris had noted to me that there's so much room in here that just with the 2 of us, I mean, we could easily fit at least one more guy with a bow in here very comfortably. So there's no problems there. The one problem we did have, if there was 4 guys in here with bows, it would be a little too crowded. We'd be up against the walls and stuff because you need room to be able to draw and scan and stuff like that. But so the blind has been absolutely spectacular, game-changing. Really love it. The one problem we did have is we had a couple missed shots, and so let me kind of show you this shot. So this shot I have right here, whenever I was shooting at a doe over here, I had to be careful because I'm kind of obliquely looking through this, and so the windows, I've got to make sure that I'm shooting like the window. It's like normally, let's say it's this big. Well, when you look obliquely at it, now it's this big, right? So I had to shoot through the bars and stuff and miss it. And again, I didn't bring my main release. This is the release that I use. This is the the Evolution Mini from Carter. It's a great release, but I usually use this for my target stuff when I'm practicing and warming up. And then whenever I'm actually shooting, I use the Wise Choice. So I can, especially when I'm hunting, you know, whenever I'm actually hunting, I'm using the Wise Choice because I can command that shot, right? Whereas this right here is not a thumb trigger. This is a safety. So while I'm drawing back, I've got that pushed in, I pull back, then I let go, and I continue to pull back and it goes off. So the problem with hunting with one of these releases that I'm finding, these kind of back tension style releases, is that it can go off when you're not ready. And it did that to me yesterday. So I was using the prototype broadhead that we got, and the shot wasn't bad. It just went off when I wasn't quite ready, and the deer was a little bit slightly quartering away. Not too bad, maybe 10 degrees or something. But I hit the doe a little far back, and it blew through the deer all the way through. Ended up another 10 yards past the deer, which is good for the broadhead, but the shot was bad because, again, I'm using this and I'm in this blind shooting through these windows, and so there's a lot going on in my head. Something I need to practice more, definitely, which I brought Target out here to practice just that. But it went off when I wasn't ready, and I hit a little far back, but there was almost no blood on the arrow. The deer ran off, and we searched for it last night. I busted out the FLIR camera and flashlights, and we gave her time. I think it was like 8 hours that we gave her, 6 hours. Went around, didn't see her. So I think she's going to go on and live a perfectly healthy life, because there was just, I mean, here's the, cover up the broadhead so you can't see it. But here is the fletching, and you can see there's just very little blood on that. And so I'm confident that she's going to live. In fact, there's almost no blood on the arrow itself. It was almost completely clean. It wasn't that great, but what was crazy is I felt the limb slap my leg a little bit. So it could have been off a little bit because of that. Okay, that one felt good. These are absolutely insane. So these are going to be the backup head for the fact that I forgot mine at home. And these are the Grim Reaper Whitetail Special. Look at that. That is insane. That is a huge, like 3-inch cutting broadhead. And I'm shooting 80 pounds at like 10 yards. I feel like this is going to be overkill, but I'm kind of here for it because I want to put these things down fast. So I'm excited to shoot this. But first, we got to make up for our inadequacies, and we're going to shoot a little bit of target here. So, all right, let's go ahead and do that.
Quick testament to how well this blind worked. These deer right here were about 6 or 7 yards away from me and had no idea.
She literally dropped right where she was. Oh my god. That was devastating. Oh my god. Holy shit. It's gonna be some good meat in the freezer. Can't wait to see where that shot went. I think she was just a hair quartering to me. I think it just went right into her heart and lungs, but we'll see in a sec. Damn, I think I missed the shot on the big camera here because she kept moving around, and so I was trying to focus and pan. So yeah, that was 27 yards, and she's laying there right now with the arrow stuck out of her. I'm glad I could get it done tonight because I got to go back into town tomorrow. Well, I had about 3 days to hunt there, so. All right. Well, so whenever I shot, I think she ducked into it because I had my pin right here. And you can see, like, as soon as that shot went off, she was already kind of, she was aware that, you know, whenever I drew back, she could hear that sound. And whenever the shot went off, she ducked into it. But the angle of it here, that got definitely both of her lungs. It might have even, the way she ducked into it, it might have actually clipped her spine too. So that was very fast. She literally dropped right here where she was standing. So I want to make it as painless as possible. And I think that was like, by the time the shock had set in that she had been hit, she was already like on her way out. I mean, that was a brutal shot. It did not penetrate all the way through. So I'm shooting 80 pounds. That was a 27-yard shot. Saw her coming in earlier. She was definitely very spookish. So should have aimed a little bit lower, but overall, incredible performance here from the broadhead. Try to pull it out here. Everything is in perfect condition there. There's like no deformation or anything like that. So the equipment, the gear is still perfectly good. I'd feel comfortable with getting that and sharpening it back up and using it again. But it's not usually how broadheads are designed, but when it works, man. So I gotta say, these whitetail special are literally something special. All right, let's go ahead and get her cleaned up.
Overall, these whitetail special broadheads were something special. They were insane how well they put this deer down. But I wanted to thank Tidway for sponsoring this video to give me that blind to check out. It was great. And honestly, guys, I think it's a blind that you can use all year round. And I think you should check it out, whether you're hunting turkey, deer, or predators. Something you should check out and try out. Also, the whitetail special were great. Not sponsored, but anyways, thanks, guys, for tuning in. And as always, predators, keep defying the odds.